Lightning like Steve McQueen. I'm in the fast lane when the light turns green. And I built tough, I ain't nothing but grit. Cause I made rugged blood, sweat, and spit. Yeah, like a horse I fly. Better push yourself in for a bumpy ride. I like to play hard, but I work harder. And I weather the storm cause I'm built stronger.
Tuning in, and I was muted there. Technical difficulties here, self-inflicted. But anyways, you guys, it's we're gonna jump in to the show right away and break down some industry headlines. A couple of announcements. I do have a guest coming on Friday, and they are the individual who we are all seeking after. So if you guys, I already had a couple of questions come through because normally on Fridays we do Q&A day. I've already had a couple of questions coming through, but my guest on Friday is fully qualified to answer any business development style questions that you guys have. And we're just going to talk about his perspective from the industry and being in the position that he's in and what we can do to improve out there. So that will be on Friday's show. Also, you guys, we're dropping episodes all the time. So we have like 7 podcasts a week that we release out there, you guys. So we have a full catalog of episodes that are, on a variety of different topics. And I'm bringing this up because, people are finding this podcast every single day for the first time. And so just a brief overview, you guys. I'm actually in the transportation industry. All right, I'm not just I'm not just a pretty face. I'm actually building a business inside of the transportation industry, a freight brokerage. I'm an independent agent with SPI Logistics. I've been in the industry for 15 years. I come from a family of truck drivers and everything else. So this podcast is solely dedicated to the transportation industry. Okay, every guest that I have on this show is active in the transportation industry in some capacity. So we're putting a catalog of information together that you guys can jump in, pay attention to, apply to your business, and see a difference in your life and your business and everything else. That's all that this is designed for. I'm not going to go behind a paywall. I don't have any mastermind groups or anything else. I'm very fortunate to have advertisers on this show. So if you're looking for ways to support this show, give some shout outs to my friends at Green Screens, Denim, SPI Logistics, and Thai Software. Show your support that way. All of this content that I'm going to always put out is never going to be behind a paywall or anything like that. And no, I don't have any courses. I'm not going to start a course or anything like that because I believe in a value exchange. And that's just what we do. And that's what we've done for the last 4 years. And that's what we're going to continue to do on this as I scale my company up into what we're going to build it into. So that's just kind of a brief kind of recap on what this show is and what we do out here. And that's just what we're going to continue to do day in and day out. This Friday, I'm going to have a friend of mine come on. Like I had mentioned, they are very qualified to answer any sales questions that you may have. Corey Buchan, happy hump day. Over on YouTube, Sonny Sharma, my man, Orange Shirt Gang. Let's go. Let's see here, you guys. Also, our newsletter, our weekly newsletter releases on Fridays. All right. I'm not going to auto sign you guys up for it. So if you want to jump in and get a action-packed newsletter in regards to the transportation industry, go to my website, thefreightcoach.com, and register for that. I'm not going to spam you. I don't even know how to access who signed up for it. My marketing guy handles all of that. So no, I'm not going to sell your email address or auto sign anybody up for it. So go to thefreightcoach.com. That newsletter releases every single Friday. All right. Also, we're going to be breaking down some articles today, and all the links and stuff that we break down is going to be up on the Freight Coach YouTube channel, as well as the Coffee with the Freight Coach audio only replay that is available almost immediately after the show. We're going to be breaking down an article on non-competes today and why I think they're a good thing in certain roles. And then also we're going to be talking about AI and in trucking and everything else and kind of what's going on there. And then we're going to have another article talking, and I literally lost that article here. Hold on one second. Let me see here. Where is this article? Billing complaint. See, we're finding it, you guys. We're getting it all together here. All right. Let's pull that one up. There it is. Perfect. Now we got that article. Sonny, I will definitely let him know he's doing a great job. His name's Christian. And yeah, man, the guy is I needed to up my social media presence. You know, it was cool for how I got to where I am right now, but I needed to take it to the next level because there's just so much more that I could be doing with it. And I just didn't have the time. And he's been phenomenal so far, and he's really helping take me to the next level and take me to the level that I'm going to bring this show, and it's going to be with him as a part of it for sure. Carla Isted, good morning to you as well. So let's jump into some articles here, you guys. I got a bunch of freight moving this week, fortunately, so I got to jump in and stay to the point. And again, you guys, right here, green screens, top of their rates are scary accurate. All right, I'm just going to put that out there right now. They've been a longtime supporter of this show. I personally use them inside of my brokerage, and for the freight that we are moving, everything's quoted through green screens. And right now, it's scary accurate where their pricing is compared to what we're actually paying on the freight that we're moving and what we're winning with it. So check them out, you guys. Check out green screens. Let them know that the Freight Coach sent you. Again, yes, they advertise on my show, but I use them every single day inside of my brokerage, you guys. And the more and more freight that we are moving, the more and more accurate their shit's getting. All right. So check them out, you guys. I'm being serious. All right. Let's get into the first article here. First article is from truckingdive.com. And this is talking about Knight-Swift's non-compete with ex-CEO highlights the old framework ahead of the rule change. A severance deal temporarily prevents David Jackson, from taking on industry and director positions. Knight-Swift's non-compete for President David Jackson temporarily restricts him from the taking a job in the industry. The executive and trucking company parted ways February 26th and soon signed a deal involving a $5.5 million payout to Jackson. Participating in the deal temporarily prevents him from working for acquisition targets, serving on Knight-Swift's competitors' boards, and competing with the carrier. A severance agreement signed March 8th includes several restrictions lasting up to 18 months and 2 years, according to the securities filing on May 1st. But Knight-Swift can override if it chooses to do so. Such deals may soon be remnants of the past if the Federal Trade Commission's rule goes into effect on September 4th and survives legal challenges. The FTC rule is slated to roll back some non-competes across the country, but existing agreements with senior executives would remain intact. So I think that's a good reminder right there, you guys, that all this non-compete stuff is still technically in effect right now up until September 4th. Existing non-competes for senior executives who represent less than 0.75% of workers can remain under the FTC rule, but employers are banned from entering into or attempting to enforce any new non-competes. And since exemptions abound, the rule gives room for non-compete agreements for nonprofit workers, franchisees, and individual sellers individuals selling their businesses. All right, so non-compete. Non-competes will still remain in effect for franchisees and individuals selling their businesses. So pay attention to that, you guys. Again, there's going to be some fine print on there, so you can't just recklessly jump out there. And then despite the pending change, the Chamber of Commerce are seeking to invalidate the ruling. Since its inception of over 100 years, the FTC has never been granted the constitutional or statutory authority to write its own competition rules. Non-competes are either upheld or dismissed out there. All right, and I brought this one up because and I've stated my stance on this, right? Entry-level people, for the most part, there's a lot of roles that should not be bound by a non-compete at all or a non-solicit. I truly feel like there are certain roles where a non-solicit should be in effect. And I think that with, David Jackson here, for example, like, yes, he's getting paid $5.5 million to sit out. So he's being compensated handsomely for that. But I think, like, in that role, like, obviously he has a ton, being the CEO, he has access to literally everything that Knight Swift was in the process of doing, contemplating doing, and what they were going to be rolling out here in the next, couple of years. So somebody like that 1000% should be bound to a non-compete. I truly feel like that is a phenomenal reason why non-competes need to stay intact for certain roles that are out there, because, like, in theory, and I'm not saying that David Jackson would go out and do this, but in theory, if this non-compete thing wasn't in effect, he could go out there and work for, again, this is all hypothetical, I want to be abundantly clear. He could, say, go work for Schneider or Hunt or Warner, and then give them the entire playbook that Knight Swift was going to be rolling out there. So again, there are certain roles that are needing to be bound by a non-compete. And like they were saying out there in the FTC, if you sell your business, for example, you should be bound to a non-compete for a certain amount of time out there. And I was actually just reading about this. So my current read right now, you guys, I know this one was all about the industry for the last couple of months, but it is How to Make a Few Billion Dollars by Brad Jacobs. I waited to start reading this because I was finishing up a book by Dr. Joe Dispenza at the time. But Brad Jacobs uses an example in his book about when he was, I think it was when United Waste, and how he bought a company up, and then the founder's daughter went and started the exact same business just down the road and everything, and started going after all the customers and everything else. So it's like, was it technically illegal? No. And he plays all of this out in the book. But again, like, that's kind of the whole point of these things is if you go out there and you sell a business, and then all of a sudden somebody comes into your family and starts the exact same business that you just sold and everything else. I think that's bush league. I think that's bullshit from my personal perspective on it. But again, like, there are certain rules out there that need to be withheld to a non-compete agreement out there, because, like, David Jackson could literally sell the entire Knight Swift playbook out to a competitor. Not saying that he will. Again, I want to be abundantly clear, because I don't want to get a fucking cease and desist or get sued or anything like that. But that's why I think these non-compete agreements are good in certain roles. Now, there's a lot of roles that shouldn't be. And it's going to be interesting to see, because, a lot of people can tout that they don't have a non-compete agreement for entry-level employees, but their non-solicit agreement is a mile wide. And I personally feel that the non-solicit agreement has the most weight in this one, because I truly think, like, a non-compete at the end of the day is irrelevant. Like, go and work for a competitor. But if you have a signed non-solicit agreement, and there are some companies in this industry, into the transportation industry, who are trying to champion the non-compete and how they don't have one, but through back channel communication, I have seen their non-solicit agreement, and it's worse than a non-compete. Right. So again, that's the one that I would be paying attention to, because I truly think that a lot of non-competes are, can be thrown out in state courts and everything else. Like the state of Minnesota, I think, for example, hasn't had a non-compete, for a long time. Same with California and other states that are out there. So I think, like, coming at it from the federal level, it could be, it'll shake things up. But I truly think if a non-solicit agreement is still enforceable out there, like, the non-compete is just fucking, it's just a sounding board. It doesn't really do anything. Okay, cool. Yeah, you can go this entire book of business that you just built up. You can go work for our competitor, but you are bound to this non-solicit. You cannot bring any of that business with you. You cannot talk to any of your former coworkers. Just watch that, you guys. If this goes into effect, which, I mean, it's going to get challenged and everything else, but just watch that. A lot of verbiage, because again, this is why lawyers are paid the big bucks and stuff out there. A lot of the verbiage will be changed around, and there will be ironclad non-solicits that will come out. Just watch, you guys. I'm mark my words right now. It's May 29th of 2024. If and when this whole non-compete stuff gets unraveled or whatever it is, and if there is no clause in there that prohibits companies from enforcing non-solicit agreements and everything else, if the non-solicit is still a valid document, they will be fucking ironclad, and it will end up being worse than having a non-compete. That's just where my gut is, because people will find a way to prohibit you from taking revenue from them. Just watch, you guys. Just watch. So while all these companies are out there trying to bang the whole, oh, we don't enforce a non-compete, fucking ask for their non-solicit and see what their non-solicit looks like. They'll tell you how employee first they really are. That article, you guys, was from truckingdive.com talking about Knight-Swift's non-compete with ex-CEO David Jackson. David Jackson's getting a nice, handsome $5.5 million buyout to not work for the next couple of years. So he'll be all right for a little bit. And Kyle Provost coming in hot. Non-solicits are for cowards. What do you really think, Kyle? No, Kyle, I agree, brother. I really do. I personally feel that, obviously there's certain rules out there that need to have some of these agreements, but if you're going to let an entry-level sales rep, if you're going to bound them to a non-solicit, you probably suck as an organization. I'm just going to throw that out there. Now, the next article we are going to break down is from ttnews.com. All of the talk in freight, the new wave of AI is coming to trucking. Advances in artificial intelligence can automate manual processes and unlock greater efficiencies. If this turns out to be a paid article, I'm sorry, you guys, I couldn't tell if it was or not. But numerous technology vendors serving the transportation industry are investing in AI to drive their future product development and ultimately unlock higher levels of safety and productivity for motor carriers and third-party logistics providers. While the industry is still in its early stages of implementing the latest advances in AI, the potential use cases for diverse and virtually endless encompassing driver safety, worker efficiency, vehicle maintenance, and business intelligence is just a few to be named. Tom McLeod of McLeod Software said recent advances in technology have paved the way for AI to flourish in transportation. Really, in the last few years, we've had the computer power and enormous storage requirements for these technologies to work. They've reached a price point, making them accessible and potentially available for widespread use. Given those developments, the latest wave of AI appears to be a tipping point where broad adoption can begin and ultimately become mainstream, McLeod said at their user conference. And it's going on to say that McLeod Software has been using machine learning in its rate predictor, a function within the Pro Market Analysis designed out there. Again, you guys, green screens is who I use for all things rating out there, and they're scary accurate. Like I was saying, what we're doing here is helping automate routine things that you're having to manually do right now. And for freight brokers and back office employees, AI can boost productivity by automating the routine parts of the job so workers can focus instead on more valuable activities such as customer service and increasing sales. Fuck, it's like the author of this article watches this show. Something I've been saying for quite some time now. Again, utilizing technology to a point is very beneficial, especially in the early and startup stages, like with what we're going through right now. And how do we allocate our time so we can focus on revenue producing activities while not being bogged down by manual processes? TIE Software has a great product out there, you guys, with the Freight Broker Battle Station. I've seen it, you guys. It's phenomenal. All right, check out what TIE has going on out there. And then again, shameless plug for me and my boy Kyle here with Broker Carrier. You guys, we have built up a capacity management platform that you literally, as a broker, as a carrier rep, and if you're in a cradle to grave model, especially, you guys, to be able to routinely notify your carriers that have hauled freight for you in the past of your upcoming loads through our load notification stuff. You guys, one click of a button, you can notify like 50 carriers just like that who've done the load for you. All right. So again, you guys, it's how do we get more efficient with our time? So as we can kind of, spend our time doing what is most important to our business and moving that needle forward. And it goes on to say, by using AI to automatically extract and structure key information from emails, the technology enables sales reps to handle those processes much more efficiently. It's like giving the customer-facing people superpowers so they can take the menial things off of their plate and also act in more strategic in the supply chain and transportation advisor to their customers. And that was Jesse Buckingham said that. Jesse actually just released his podcast yesterday. If you guys want to get a little bit more on that. And then more broadly, AI can enable companies to better harness the sea of data and capture margin. Trucking companies and logistics providers out there. And then it goes on, our customers are collecting a ton of data, said Jean-Sebastian Bouchard, Isaac's co-founder and chief product officer, looking at the amount of data we have, we thought, what more can we do with this data? I think AI is going to change our lives. It's going to change the way we manage our businesses. And then other use cases for AI optimizing truck routing and dispatching to improve fleet utilization. And then it goes on to say, I am firmly in the camp of its man plus machine, says Lindsay Watt, vice president at Parade. Rather than threatening their jobs, automation can help make broker sales representatives more productive out there. And, and to be honest with you, good morning, Tracy St. Clair. Sonny Sharma says, if anybody is listening today, if you have any questions about broker carrier and Ty, feel free to reach out to him. Sonny, I appreciate that, man. Sonny's a good friend of mine, and he is a major supporter of everything that I have. So I really appreciate that, man. Here's my honest assessment on where AI is going to come into transportation. I really think that, again, and I put this out there, like 95% of my day should be automated as a freight broker, and you should never automate the customer and the carrier experience with you, right? I truly feel that way. And that's what I'm going to leverage a lot of technology out there is to free up my day and my time so I can go and build my business more effectively, right? Like I think that, because it's not as simple as, hey, I'm just going to go raise money and then hire 100 people. I need to be in a position where I need to hire the right people and give them the right tools to maximize their time and to maximize the results of your output, right? Like I want to hire hungry individuals inside of my organization. And again, if you're out there looking for a job right now and you're a sales rep, talk to me. All right. Send me a DM. Let's talk. If I can't have a place for you in my organization, I know a ton of people out there who are hiring as well. But I look at it like this. As a sales rep, as a business owner, as somebody who I consider myself a high-performing individual, I want to maximize my output in a day. I want to maximize my time. And I also got to look at my budget. I also have a P&L. It's dollar in, dollar out. And I need to look at ways of how do I improve my operating ratios? How do I improve the profitability in my company so I can be sustainable in any freight market out there? All right. And I want to utilize technology to hire the right amount of people. If I, instead of hiring 10 and hoping 2 work out, why don't I just hire the right 2 individuals and then pair them up with the industry leading technology to maximize their outputs so they can make as much money as possible? Because I don't believe in cap commissions. And that's another thing too. If you're going to work inside of my organization as a sales rep, you're never going to have your commission structure capped. All right. It's unlimited from that perspective. And I want to give my people the tools to maximize that. And that's where I think automation really comes into play, right? And I think that's where AI is really going to do. I think you have to leverage that. It's got to be people plus, your product. And then that's going to maximize your output. I really do. And I think that it's going to come to a point where it's going to find all of your redundancies inside of your organization because everybody has them. And how do we make it a more streamlined operation? I think that that's something that a lot of people can look into. And then John Sutton, from Sunset Transportation, he's been implementing it to improve operational efficiency out there. He was on the show a while ago. He says the AI will go through, synthesize the entire master trade agreement and outline where we are in alignment, partially in alignment, or completely out of whack. And that is talking about negotiations and contracts. It's a good one. And then he says another area where Sunset is applying is weather management, talking out there. Yeah, that's another thing too, you guys, especially right now in the summer months. Weather's always unpredictable, but especially right now. And then he goes on to say that our bread and butter right now, we're just making sure that we're picking up the phone because he's also using automated quoting to extract unstructured data from emails. The goal is to make the routine part of the job faster and easier and always free to answer calls. I love John's response right there. And I think that that's the exact area where you need to be looking at here. And I just look at, look at this. Dawn Dawn with Green Screens, she's quoted in this article here. She says logistics will always be a people business, but that doesn't mean it needs to be inefficient or compromise data quality due to human error. This makes the adoption of this new wave of frequent freight technology essential. Relationship building is also crucial. These innovations will streamline low hanging fruit, exceptions, and repetitive tasks, allowing human capital to focus on relationship and value added activities. As the industry evolves, accessibility to real-time dynamic data and predictive analytics will become the standard, creating an unattainable playing field for vendors and transportation professionals who refuse to adapt. I couldn't agree more with this. And then Tom Curie with QED. I'm sorry, Tom, if I'm butchering that. The simple decision making we've been manually performing in our industry will cease to exist. Actionable intelligence will drive significant value by effectively leveraging AI to expeditiously make those decisions. Today, most of our business knowledge is held hostage by users. Over the next 5 years, the efforts to store and then leverage that data will allow users to experience significant gains in productivity. I couldn't agree more. This is a really good article, you guys. If you want to go out there and learn more about the AI wave in freight, I would highly recommend going to ttnews.com. And A New Wave of AI is Coming to Trucking is the title of that article. Check that out, you guys, and read up on it. All right. Because there's some very good talking points in there. And again, I look at it from my stance is we need to leverage technology to maximize our output. And we need to think of it like this. How do we get the most bang for our buck out there? All right. I think that as we're becoming a more and more competitive industry, speed is everything, communication is everything, and that you need to look into how do you leverage those things. All right. How do you get quotes out there faster? I mean, there's now where it's like I'm getting responses and rates back to some of my customers within 3 minutes. All right. And that's slow compared to what an AI thing can do out there. But again, you guys, like that's where the competition is. And even then, when I'm replying in 2 minutes or a minute or whatever that looks like, those loads are already gone. People are out there replying faster. So, again, you got to see where are things heading. All right. I think that overall, when it comes down to AI, I don't want to see it replace anybody's jobs. I think that you can't automate everything because then that removes the need for humans. And I will never be a fan of that. I want to leverage technology and pair it up to enhance people's outputs, to build up businesses and everything else, you guys. So that will be it for today. We'll be back tomorrow. We got another solo show tomorrow, but Friday, ladies and gentlemen, you guys are going to want to tune in for Friday's Q&A show, okay? I'm telling you, if there's any episode that you're not going to want to miss, it's going to be Friday's episode from a Q&A standpoint. Bring your sales and operations related questions, all right? You cannot find a more qualified person that will be on my show on Friday to answer these for you. And if you don't tune in for it, I'm going to be honest, you're missing a very, very crucial opportunity to speak with somebody who is our target market, all right? As always, you guys, if you guys got value in what you heard, subscribe to the show, you guys. Share it out there to your network, because if you see value, your network's going to see value as well. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys, and we'll be talking to you soon.